The Lester's Grill, Carolina Hotel. Jim's lunch for hot dogs, we'll eat our fill. Sam and Max shoe shine, I'll pick up the bill. California sandwich shop, we'll find our thrill. Down on Hamburger Square, Hamburger Square. Some of my favorite people down there. Down on Hamburger Square, Hamburger Square. Sam and Max and Little Lester's down there. Got something can't be taken away. The power of love, baby, what I say. Max Corner Grill got the mystery mounds. It's Blumenthal's and you know you're downtown. Down on Hamburger Square, Hamburger Square. Some of my favorite people down there. Down on Hamburger Square, Hamburger Square. Sam and Max and Little Lester's down there.
Hello and welcome once again to Conversations. We have with us today Chris Dragon. He is the music director of the Greensboro Symphony Orchestra. He comes to us from Colorado, the Colorado Symphony Orchestra, and you were also the Wyoming Symphony Orchestra with them as well. Very accomplished, done so much work. Chris, it's so great to have you. Your energy, your presence, we're so excited to have you here in Greensboro.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So tell me about, let's start off with Australia. Can you tell me about just growing up in Australia and what that was like for you?
Yeah, so as you'll hear very quickly, I'm from Australia, the complete other side of the world. Actually, I did all my kind of study and training in Australia. I basically moved to the US only once I had won my job with the Colorado Symphony. All my education had been in Australia, and actually Australia is where my family still lives. So Australia is still home at heart for me.
Do you miss it?
I do miss it. It's just a great way of life. You're always close to the beach. No matter where you live, you're about 10 minutes, 15 minutes from the beach. The food is amazing. The culture is great. It's just a great lifestyle that you have in Australia. The only problem with it is that it's just so far away. That was the hardest part of being there, is having guest conducting. It takes a long time to travel out of Australia to get to basically anywhere.
Yeah. How long of a flight is that from here?
Oh, well, I think all up, including stopovers, it's about over 30 hours worth of travel. So when I go back home to Perth for, let's say, Christmas, I'm from Perth, Western Australia, which is one of the most isolated, populated cities in the world. To get from there, from Colorado, I have to fly to either LA or Dallas, and then Dallas to Sydney, and then Sydney to Perth. So it's a whole thing. There's no easy way of doing it. There's no easy way.
So your early life, tell me about how you got into music.
Well, it's funny, 'cause I don't come from a musical family. You expect a conductor to have both of their parents being in orchestras or going to symphonies. That's not the upbringing that I had. We did have a piano in our house, and my parents supported music. They wanted me to learn it, so they gave me piano lessons at a very young age. And even, I think I was probably around six or seven. I can't quite remember, but even then, I remember connecting to the music and finding it something that I could relate to very easily, and it came quite naturally to me. So from a very early age, I knew I wanted to be involved in music. At first, of course, I thought I was going to be a concert pianist. It didn't happen. I then picked up the clarinet, which became the instrument I did all my studies on. I did my Bachelor of Music in Australia on clarinet. I had thoughts of becoming an orchestral clarinetist. But when I went to symphony concerts, and I only started going to symphony concerts maybe in college. I started going to symphony concerts quite late in life. But when I would go to these symphony shows, I would always be transfixed on the conductor. I don't know what it was about the conductor, but I would always end up spending my whole time watching the conductor. And then as a clarinetist playing in orchestra, as a clarinetist, you sit at the back of the orchestra in the woodwind section with all the strings in front of you, the brass to the side, percussion behind you. I would always hear all these things from different sections of the orchestra, and I would always want them to be slightly different or have an input of how to play a certain passage in the violins or the brass. But as a clarinetist, it's not really your job to go up to the other sections and suggest or ask them how are they playing certain things. I think you'd be socked in the face if you went up to a trumpeter as a clarinetist and asked them, oh, can you play this like that? It's not going to go down very well. So very early on playing in orchestras, I learned that I wanted to have a larger impact in the overall music making. And I think that's kind of what led me into being a conductor.
And is that what conducting is? You're having an impact, or you're suggesting, or you're telling how something is supposed to go?
Yeah, conducting is a very mysterious thing. It is like, even as a conductor myself, I try not to overthink about it because I feel like I'm going to make it much harder than it is. I think the basic concept, everyone thinks a conductor is waving a stick, their baton, and keeping time. And yes, that is a big part of it, keeping time. But what I've learned over the years is conducting is so much more. You have 70, 80, 90 people in front of you, each of them reading the music, but those dots on a page can be interpreted in so many different ways. So as a conductor, it's your job to try to pull everyone into the same kind of mindset of music making. So we're making it all in the same way, so it's a unified performance. And then I guess also as a conductor, you're trying to inspire something a little bit special. Because quite frankly, an orchestra can play most of the music by themselves without a conductor on the podium. Like, they're all very capable musicians. They're able to play their instruments. Most of the time, the music will happen regardless of the conductor. So I think my job is to add that little bit of something to the performance to make it that little bit more exciting. So there truly is music making happening on stage. And I think that's the great thing about coming to an orchestral concert, is that it is an entertainment and an art form that is created right there in that moment. It's going to be different every single time you see an orchestra play a piece. It's a unique performance every single time. So it's art that happens in that single 2 hours, 3 hours that will never be the same again.
Yeah, and you're keeping a cadence, you're keeping a time, and you're keeping that energy within either that one section or that group of sections.
Yeah,
together.
Yeah, and it's not only giving them energy, but also setting the character and the mood, because there's so much shift in orchestral music. There's so many different emotions and characters. So as a conductor, it's your job to try to show those changes and bring out those colors and changes as much as you can. And as a conductor, you can't really tell the orchestra. Like, I think that's how you word it before. Do you tell the orchestra something? Like, you encourage, you suggest. Like, at the end of the day, an orchestra is going to do what they want to do. If they don't believe in the person on the podium, they're just going to play and do whatever they want. So it's important to kind of build that trust and that relationship with the musicians that you're working with.
Right, because you're going to have to spend a lot of time rehearsing. And I mean, like you said it best, they're going to have to trust you, or they're going to have to believe in your ability and, I guess, your leadership.
Exactly. It's all about trust, and that trust goes both ways. Like, the musicians have to trust the conductor, and the conductor also has to trust the musicians that they're in front of, knowing when to step in and correct something and when to step back, and you know that they'll sort it out themselves. So it's a trust that goes both ways.
How do you build that?
Gosh, I think, so even though I'm a young conductor, I've been conducting since I was 20 something, 21, 22, and this is in front of orchestras very regularly. And at that age especially, and even now, there are times where I'm working with musicians that have been in the orchestra longer than I've been alive. Like, that has been a reality for me for a very, very long time. So this age gap that I have, it's never really been an issue. And in terms of linking this back to building trust, to me, I think as a conductor, I've always had 3 rules. If I use my time effectively, if I respect the musicians that I'm working with, and musically I know what I want to do, there is no reason why I should have any issue working with any orchestra. And they're always the 3 rules and mindset that I've gone into working with any ensemble. So I think musicians just want to see someone that's prepared, that is capable, that they know will be a good performance. At the end of the day, that's what we're all trying to do, is put on the best possible concert that we can.
Tell me about you talked about your first conducting performance. Can you tell me where that was and what that was like?
Sure,
for you?
yeah. So my first ever actual like concert is probably one of the most, looking back on it, one of the most terrifying, crazy things that I've ever done. So to start learning conducting basically in Australia, what I did was I built my own orchestra. I brought my friends from the two music universities in Perth, brought them together, because they didn't offer conducting as a core subject. Here in the US, there are some colleges and universities that offer conducting as what you do your degree on. But in Australia or in Perth, they didn't offer that. So I built my own orchestra to try and test out conducting because it was something that I was so interested in. I built my own orchestra. We put on our own concert. I sold tickets, all this other stuff. It was a huge, huge thing. I remember cutting out, because I printed the tickets on just like my printer at home. I remember cutting out each of the tickets to hand to people as they came in. So it was a huge amount of work, huge amount of work. But clearly it went all right because I kept doing it. But that first concert, I can't even remember. I remember conducting Beethoven. I think it was an overture, and there was something else on the program. But it's probably not what I would recommend to other people wanting to get into conducting. Probably not the safest way of introducing yourself to this art form. Throwing yourself into a concert like that with an orchestra and an audience. Probably not the best way, but it worked out very well. So I'm very relieved. Crazy first concert.
I was going to say, how did you feel being up there?
Gosh, there is so much to think about. It's hard. Conducting, it's rare for me to get really nervous. I only get nervous at the first rehearsal.
Right.
But by the time it comes to the concert, I'm just so focused on all the things that I'm supposed to do, the tempo changes, cueing the musicians, this overall structure of the music. There's not really time to get nervous and worry about any other things. I'm just so busy in that moment. Everything else kind of disappears.
That's so funny. I was thinking of Mike Tyson. He used to say he was always scared of his opponent. He was scared of his opponent when he was training the whole time. He was scared to death of him.
Yes.
Until he stepped into the ring, because he was scared, because it was what drove him. He prepared and prepared and prepared, and then he stepped into the ring. He's like, I'm ready.
Wow, I hadn't heard that, but I guess I feel very similar. To me, it's that first rehearsal, even with orchestras like Colorado Symphony, and I've been there 11 years now, even with groups that I know unbelievably well and programs that I've done numerous times, I still get extremely nervous for that first rehearsal. And I think it's just because you've done all this preparation, you just don't know how things are going to go. And then finally, when you get on there and you start the music, it's a relief because it's like, oh, yes, I do know it. The musicians know it.
You start hearing it.
Yeah,
it's like, hearing the feedback.
It's all good. Yeah, everything's going to be fine. So by the time you get to the concert, to me, the concert is the most fun part because you can't stop. You're just letting the music do its thing. It's like riding a wave. Once the music starts, you're just on the crest of it, and you're riding that momentum. It's a really magical thing in the concert, and a thrilling experience.
Oh, man. How much time would you say you spend on the music, getting ready for a concert? How much time are you spending just looking at it, thinking about it, rehearsing, listening to other concerts?
Sure. It takes that's what I spend most of my time doing. Everyone thinks conductors have this glamorous lifestyle of conducting concerts and flying around, but what people don't see is the amount of time and hours and months spent learning the music that's coming up. We have a concert this weekend in Greensboro, and it's a classical masterworks concert. So this music and it's a program that I know really well, but I've been looking at it for at least the past month, if not a little bit before that. And this is a program that I know very well. If it's say a film, movie films normally take a lot of work. Those I start looking at 2 months out or something like that. What is it, Star Wars or Harry Potter? Those films, it takes much longer. It really depends on what the concert is. A pop show, I can usually learn the week before or the week of. Classical programs take a little bit of more time, and then film concerts take a lot of time. To me, those are the hardest ones to pull together.
Yeah, because you have to hit everything
Yeah.
right on. It's
Yeah.
not like I would
that
imagine
flexibility.
I would imagine there's a little bit of flexibility in
Very
just
little.
your traditional concert, but
Yep.
like with the movie, you got to hit there's certain scenes that come on. You got to hit that.
Yeah,
note at the
when
right
something explodes, you better hope that cymbal crash or whatever there is ready to go. Like that to me is what is the hardest thing about film. Apart from there being a lot of music, what is it usually, like an hour and a half worth of music or something? There isn't that flexibility. With orchestral music, there is that space and time, and as an artist, you have the flexibility to do whatever you want, basically. With a film, you're right, you have to hit all these certain markers, so you can't get out, especially if there is singing, something like The Nightmare Before Christmas, where all that singing audio is already pre-recorded into the film. So the music has to be bang on because you can't get out with the voice. So it's hard. Films, and I don't conduct many films in a season or in a year just because it does take so much work to do it well.
And tell me about the films that you've done.
Oh my gosh, film-wise, Star Wars, the original trilogy are the ones that I normally do. What else? Home Alone, Nightmare Before Christmas, Raiders, Indiana Jones, E.T. Like the big John Williams films are always very exciting. The music is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
But even things like Love Actually, The Goonies. I've done a whole bunch of Danny Elfman's film music. There's so much out there.
That's funny, The Goonies I wouldn't think of.
Yeah, there are a lot of films like that you don't really expect, but it's fun. It's still great. It's still great music. And people, to me, the great thing about these film concerts is that it exposes a lot of the time, a whole new audience to experience a symphony orchestra. Like orchestras don't just play classical music, especially today. What an orchestra is has changed a lot. We do a lot more pops. We do a lot more band collaborations, like groups like, for example, in Colorado, Gregory Alan Isaacoff, Nathaniel Rateliff, the Wu-Tang Clan, Cypress Hill, Flaming Lips, like all these big bands that you would never really think would be playing with an orchestra. That's the sort of stuff that we're starting to do. And that's what I'm trying to bring to Greensboro, is also these collaborations to kind of bring the orchestra into a modern era. So yeah, these band collaborations, these films, there are all sorts of things now that orchestras do. Video game music, there's so much stuff. Like we have Final Fantasy, I'm pretty sure this season the symphony's playing Final Fantasy music with screens and everything. So yeah, orchestras are changing.
I was going to say, because you mentioned this in one of your interviews, was that, do you think that symphony isn't as popular as it used to be, or? I
don't know if it's not as, I think orchestras are still extremely popular. To me, the bigger discussion is that I feel like a lot of people have this perception of what a symphony is, that it's for a certain status of people or a certain age or demographic of people. But that's so far from the truth. Like any person my age, even if you're not going to an orchestral concert, orchestral music surrounds you every day, whether it's on the TV, film, video games, whatever. It is around you all the time. So what I love and what we're trying to do here in Greensboro is, at least in the Masterworks, the classical part of our series, is to program pieces that people will be familiar with. They'll recognize it from maybe a movie, from a TV show, and then they can experience this whole grand, complete work. But I think if there are little tunes here and there that you recognize, it makes it a little bit easier to experience the symphony orchestra. Like those films, I think a new audience coming to see an orchestra and realizing, oh, this is actually kind of cool. Like seeing an orchestra play the film score live, like there is nothing like it. It's a pretty amazing experience to witness an orchestra and to feel the music, to feel the vibrations against your skin in that concert hall setting, surrounded by other people that are on that same journey as you. Yeah. It's a very unique experience. You can't really recreate it on a CD or an album or watching it on YouTube. It's not the same as experiencing it live.
And I think that's what we're missing, particularly with COVID. I think that's what people have. You could see the yearning for this. That
community, yeah.
Community, because everybody was locked down and everybody's got the phones now.
Yes.
And everybody's got Netflix, which is cool. But I remember, this is a little different, but we watched, Die Hard in at the Carolina Theater down here.
Yep.
And it was just it's so different watching it with people, because I don't really go to the movies. I just don't. I just haven't gone. I mean, but it's just so much fun because they had like they play all the classical Christmas
Nice.
movies. They have like a
Yes.
Christmas series that'll be coming out, and watch that. And there's all these little things that like everybody just joined in and laughed at. Like you wouldn't. I feel like I've watched it a couple times and I'm like, oh, I never saw that before. And everybody just joined in and laughed at it.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
You're right, yeah. During COVID especially, I think that's where, especially for musicians, like we did a lot of virtual performances and recording things, but not having the audience there. Like we would record it, and this is in Colorado and Wyoming, I remember doing this. We would record it in the concert hall, completely empty, no audience. You get to the end of a piece or whatever after working so hard, silence. There is no applause or anything. So the audience plays a really important part to orchestral music and live music. Like we feed off what the audience gives us. If the audience is super into it, that energizes the musicians that are performing on stage. And that especially is true when we do these band collaborations, because you get really wild audiences that are like Red Rocks. I do a lot of Red Rocks concerts with the Colorado Symphony. Having 10,000 people behind you just going nuts over whichever act they're seeing. For us, we feel like rock stars on stage performing in front of crowds like that. So no, the audience is just as important as the music for us.
That's funny. I would have never thought of that. Oh, that's wild.
It's so depressing if you don't have because that's why we play it, is that we're wanting to share the music with the audience. So to not have them there present and not hearing applause or any sort of reaction to what we're doing, it's missing something. It misses that something without the audience there.
Yeah, and so you also said that you're adding in like you're trying to get into more pop music too, or like popular. You're adding in like popular culture.
Collaboration, yeah, making orchestras relevant today. I think that's what I think all orchestras around the US are doing, and around the world really, is that they're doing more of these film collaborations. They're doing more of these band collaborations with relevant artists today. It's to make orchestras more relevant. And that doesn't mean that the classics don't matter. Like we're still here to play Brahms, Mozart, Beethoven. Like that still is our bread and butter. But I hope that these other kind of concerts that we're doing just opens that door to people to come in, feel the courage to come and witness a classical concert, because I'm sure they will love it. There is so much to enjoy when you have live music in front of you.
Okay, tell me about your journey here. Tell me about coming to Greensboro. Why Greensboro?
Well, a few people had mentioned when the job opening came. When was that? Like 2 years ago now, 3 years ago. A few people had reached out and suggested that I come and audition for the orchestra here. So I put my hat in the ring. They invited, 7 of us. We each had a week with the orchestra throughout the season. Each of the conductors did a concert. And then I was lucky enough to win it. For me, wanting to come to Greensboro and work with this orchestra was that it was a step up from the orchestra that I previously had in Wyoming. This is a larger orchestra. They do more concerts, which as a conductor, that's what you want to do. You want to make more music. You want to do more concerts. And what I realized here is that there's a lot of support in the community for this orchestra. All the donors and the community members that I met really care about the symphony. And they're doing a lot of good things. Having the Tanger Center here, we've got this new rehearsal hall space. There were things in place that I could see that I could build on. And I knew I could have a positive impact on where we need to take the orchestra. Because like I was saying before, to me, orchestras need to modernize, they need to become more relevant. And that's kind of the biggest thing of what I'm trying to achieve here in Greensboro, is make the Greensboro Symphony really part of the community and as relevant to as many people as possible. We want to welcome everyone to come and see the Greensboro Symphony.
That's awesome. Tell me about your time studying with Fabio Luisi and Naomi Yarvi.
Oh yeah, I've been very lucky to study with some really truly top conductors in the world. And like I was saying before, because I was in Australia, you're very isolated, so you don't really know how you fit in the grand scheme of things. Like, yes, I could kind of conduct in Australia, but worldwide, how do I do? But having this mentorship from truly world-class artists, like Fabio Luisi, I met, gosh, how old was I? I think 21, 22. I was very young when I first met him. And it was in this festival in Japan. So it was the first time I think I flew internationally or solo somewhere by myself. It was to Japan for this music festival with Luisi because he invited me. And since then we've kept in touch. I then visited him in the Zurich Opera House. I spent 2 or 3 weeks there with him in Zurich, just watching all of his rehearsals, studying. And then I've met him in the US a few times also. Now that I'm a proper conductor, I say, my schedule's so busy. I would love to go and visit these conductors more and watch them rehearse. Because to me, like watching rehearsals, that's how I basically learned a lot of my craft of what do you do, what don't you do. Before I won my job in WASO, the West Australian Symphony, I was the first assistant conductor there. Before I won my job there, I'd spent 2 years sitting in the choir stalls up behind the orchestra, just watching the conductors work. I didn't have a job with them or anything. I just took it onto myself to take scores, watch every rehearsal, and just take it all in. Because you learn what works and what doesn't work. And then Naimi Järvi and Paavo Järvi, I met them as part of the Järvi Festival in Estonia. So I was part of that for 2 winters and a summer. They're world-class conductors that only work with the biggest orchestras. So to be able to learn from like the great conductors of today, I think really helped to shape me. Also, I've been very lucky coming from isolated old little Perth in Western Australia. I was able to somehow have these great opportunities with big conductors. So,
what was it about these guys? What made them so great?
Gosh, well, the technique, what they do with their hands, how they shape their music. Again, it's all about building that trust with the musicians, how they built the trust with the ensembles that they were working with, how they approach the music, how they address certain issues in the music. Like Fabio Luisi especially is one of the greatest conductors today. There is no doubt about that. I don't think anyone else would say anything different to that. But he's just so clear and efficient, and musicians absolutely adore him because he is a great conductor, a great musician, very humble and giving, and just has, again, a clear idea of how he wants to interpret the music. He's a phenomenal musician. So like I said, I wish I could spend, I know I have my own career, but I wish I could spend more time. Like I look back on my early years and being able to watch all these conductors and do master classes, and there's a part of me that wishes I could go back in time and do it all again with the skill set that I have now. I miss it. It was so much fun. And it's way less pressure because you're not performing concerts and stuff like that. It was more of just like you're always learning as a conductor. You always are learning. But to do it in that kind of setting is not something that I get the opportunity to do anymore.
That's awesome. And you've traveled a whole bunch, and you've traveled basically the country and done all kinds of different gigs in different places. I know you did one. Did you do one in California?
Yeah, I've done LA Phil and San Diego Symphony I go to regularly, and I think there's potentially a concert lined up at the Hollywood Bowl next season. So no, I'm everywhere. I'm very lucky in the US. Things have kind of just really exploded for me. I don't have enough time and weeks to do all the concerts that I get asked to do. And the fun thing is, I'm not just in one lane. I don't just do the classical repertoire, which for most conductors isn't very common. Usually conductors just do classical, or they just do pops, or they just do film. What I love about what I get to do is that I conduct absolutely everything. So when I go and guest conduct, sometimes it will be for a film, sometimes it will be a pop show with a band or whatever. Sometimes it will just be a complete classical program. So it's nice to have that variety. It keeps it, I guess it stops it from keeping stale, because I get to constantly switch through different genres of music. Yeah, one day conducting Cypress Hill and Wu-Tang Clan, the next day conducting a Mozart symphony. So it's a very wide spectrum that I get to explore.
That's wild. And I know your wife told you on your honeymoon, she said you're not allowed to bring the film scores.
Yes, I wasn't allowed to bring any scores to my, well, it wasn't our honeymoon, it was for our wedding, actually. Our wedding, yeah. Oh, trust me, the honeymoon unfortunately got kicked down because concerts keep popping up. It's hard to fit time in. So no, the wedding, she asked, first of all, we blocked off a whole month which never happens. I've never had a month off of not doing concerts. It's rare for me to have a week off or 2 weeks off. Like 2 weeks off never happens. A week off is like a rarity. So to have a whole month off was unbelievable. I really enjoyed it. It's hard for me to switch off as a conductor because there's always a concert to prepare for. I can't really
just turn your brain and just
even that, because I've got concerts this week and then I've got concerts next week and then I've got concerts the week after. Like there is always music I need to be learning. Instead of just sitting back and chilling out, I should be using that time to prepare for whatever is coming up next. So yeah, taking that whole month off for our wedding was one of the few times I've really been able to switch off and really enjoy the moment and be present in the moment. Because a lot of, like, you can ask my wife, a lot of the times, even though we'll be out somewhere or at something, she knows I'm thinking about, I need to do this. This is like, or I'm thinking about some passage of music, something I'm going over in my head. So yeah, it was the best decision. The wife knows best.
Usually.
I think, exactly. I've come to learn that very quickly.
Believe me, I know. I was going to say, your time management. I mean, you have to have, do you have like a pretty strict day?
Yeah, it's well, basically at the start of, I look months ahead and see what are the concerts coming up. And then I just try to plan my weeks accordingly. Like, I need to look at this music this week. I need to look at this music this week, and try to get ahead of everything. But every day I basically wake up, I'll do some emails and whatever admin stuff I have to do. And then the rest of the day until I go to bed is just studying scores. That's all it is. Yeah, it's wake up, eat, study scores, eat, study scores, eat, go to bed, repeat. So it's a very taxing career, and getting into it, nobody really tells you what the workload is going to be like, and constantly all the travel, like especially if things go well as a conductor, you're constantly getting on a plane to the next place, to the next place, to the next place. So yeah, when I'm not here in Greensboro, Colorado, or Philly, I'm usually somewhere else conducting some other sort of concert. So no, people don't prepare you for how much work and time is actually required to do this. The thing is, like, it's the best job in the world. Like, I love it. My job is I get to make music as a living. Like, I feel blessed that is my career. It's highly competitive. To not only to be a conductor, but to be a musician. There are so few jobs out there that it's a very difficult profession to get into. So as hard as all the work is, the reward of being able to get to make music is worth it.
Wow. That's amazing. Do you have like a favorite piece of music that, like, when you get it, you're like, oh, this is yes. Do you have a favorite?
You know, I get asked this question a lot about what is your favorite piece to conduct, and I really don't have a favorite piece. To me, it really is whatever I'm conducting next. Like, that's, as a conductor, I feel like you have to be invested and believe in whatever the music is that you're conducting. Like, I feel like the musicians can tell if the conductor's not into it, and then that translates into the playing, and then that translates into the audience. So for me, it's always whatever the next thing is that I'm conducting. That's always what I guess, my next favorite piece.
Have you ever? I guess you've never not been into a piece of music.
Oh no, there are, but you've got to find just something in it to take out of it, to find some sort of positive. Yeah, there are at times where there is music that I'm not completely sold on, but that doesn't mean that I'm not trying to get the most out of that piece. Like, even if sometimes there are terrible pieces of music that we have to perform, but you feel, but you can also try. I kind of see it as a challenge also, to try to make that piece better, to make it exciting, to kind of bring out the nuance that people aren't really looking at. So to me, when we do have maybe not the best piece of music in front of us, I see it as a challenge to make it fun, or to bring something out of it.
Oh, that's fascinating. Okay. Is there anything you haven't done that you really want to do?
Gosh, everything. I feel like I've only touched the surface of what music there is to conduct. Like, there are so many collaborations. There's so much, like, all the Mahler symphonies I haven't really touched into yet. There are some pieces which I have which I've held back off on doing. I'm very particular in the music that I conduct and that I feel that I'm ready to conduct. There are some bigger pieces by Mahler and Strauss that I've just pushed back a little bit. I just want to wait a few more years until I really feel ready to tackle those pieces. So I know there is a lot for me to still do. There is a lot for me to do still.
Who's your favorite conductor?
Oh, I have a lot. I think Fabio's great. Pavel Yevi's great. Asher Fish, who was my mentor back in the West Australian Symphony Orchestra. He was the assistant conductor to Daniel Barenboim, who was one of these legendary conductors of, gosh, whenever. Like he's just one of the legendary conductors. So it's cool having this kind of lineage to him through my mentor, Asher Fish. But those are my favorite, I guess, living conductors. The ones that have passed, I think Bernstein is probably what got me into conducting. I think watching him conduct any piece of music, he gives his whole body, his whole soul, every ounce of energy he gives to the performance. And that's something that I try to channel every time we do a concert. Like I'm disgusting by the end of a concert. I'm usually like absolutely drenched. I'm so tired after a concert because I don't know, I feel like an obligation to give every ounce of energy I possibly can to every show that we do. And that's something that he does.
Yeah, I've watched you, and you put a lot of energy.
Yeah, I'm not like a normal conductor.
You're all over.
Yeah, and people say this, oh, we love watching you conduct, and to be honest, I have no idea what I'm doing when I'm conducting. Like nothing is planned or choreographed. I'm not like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this here and do this here. It's all very much based on like the sounds that I'm wanting to get out of the orchestra and how I'm hearing the sound, the music in my head. It's all about shaping the sound that comes out. So nothing is planned. It's all the intention of the sound that I'm trying to bring out of the orchestra. Yeah, no, people say this, and I know I'm crazy. I know I'm absolutely nuts. But nothing is planned. It's all just in the moment or having fun or, yeah.
And I know you've dressed up for a couple of them.
Oh yeah, I don't mind a costume here and there. Yeah, it depends
You've done
what
Star Wars and
I do.
David Bowie.
Yeah, I have. To me, like symphony should be fun. And this goes back to breaking this stigma that orchestra concerts are stuffy and boring and for older demographic. To me, orchestras are fun. It shouldn't be any different to going out and seeing a film or having a night out. So any chance to wear a costume just for a bit of fun, like why not? I think the most viral costume I've had was when we did, it was a Comic-Con concert. So I don't remember if the orchestra was dressed up or not. But anyway, it's a whole bunch of film music, video game music, TV music. For the encore, we were playing Jurassic Park. And I didn't tell the orchestra this. I went off stage, came back on in one of those giant inflatable T-Rex costumes. I hadn't told any of the musicians, so they completely lost it. I think we were missing music for the first maybe 30 seconds, a minute, because they were all just laughing. They had no idea what was going on. They thought it was the funniest thing. And it was, obviously I never practiced conducting in a T-Rex suit, so I just did it in the concert. And what I found, because you have to wear these little claw hand things, but they were plastic. So I wasn't able to turn my music, so that was like the first problem that I had. And then also conducting in it, you look out of this little clear kind of screen thing. Like that fogged up within like a minute. I couldn't see either, so I couldn't turn the pages, I couldn't see. And then I did the same kind of shtick in Australia, again for a Comic-Con concert. This was at the end of the first half, I think, or end of the concert. The little air vent popped out, so there was an extinction on stage.
It deflated?
Yeah, it was deflating.
No.
Luckily, it happened halfway through the piece, so it was still kind of there, but it was going down. So, but no, the first time I did the Jurassic Park thing in Colorado, I posted that video. I went to bed. I woke up the next day, and it was like, you have what was it, like 20,000 notifications
Yeah.
or something crazy like that. And then I grew pages like Lad Bible and all these things reaching out to me to use it. So I turned off notifications. Like that was a very handy feature because my phone just kept bing, 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 crazy. And not many people know it's me because I was in this costume, so.
Oh, that's even funnier.
Which is great.
Are you gonna? You say you're gonna do more of this in the future, I presume?
Yeah, well, I hope one day I get to do one of the films here. I always dress up for a film, whether it's Harry Potter or whichever one. Usually I'll be dressed up as something. But yeah, it's just to keep it fun. I think symphony orchestras don't have to be so serious all the time. Like, it should just be a night out.
Yeah.
Night out of fun.
Yeah. It always seems to be the serious thing with, like, you got to wear a monocle to come in.
Exactly, and it's just all so
regal and royal.
It's also such rubbish because really early on, especially with symphony orchestras, like really back in the day, audiences were the most rowdiest, loudest group. Like if they didn't like something, they would start booing during the concert. If they liked something in the concert, they would start applauding during the music. Like all these other, what do you call them, traditions, I guess, performance traditions, they happen much later on. Like to me, I have no issue when audience members want to clap at the end of a movement even. Like, so I know some people are like, oh, you have to clap at the end of the piece, you shouldn't clap in between movements. I don't quite agree with that. I feel like if you enjoy something as musicians, like we love it if our audience is enjoying what we're performing. Like if you want to clap at the end of a movement, clap. Like there is nothing wrong with that. We enjoy that. You are enjoying your time here. So no, like I said, we want to change the perception of what an orchestra is.
As you were saying that, I was thinking of like Mozart, because didn't Mozart, like he tried to like kind of stir things up, I feel.
Mozart was a little rat bag, really. Like some of his music, and he had a very dirty humor also.
Yeah, that's...
Mozart, yeah, he was a lot wilder. And he was very young. He was very, very young. I'm trying to think what age he passed by. He was very, very young. But all this, his cheekiness and his humor, like it comes out in the music also. Like that's why his music is just full of life and a lot of the time it's very operatic. Even in symphonies, everything has its own character, whether it's a dramatic, sad moment or something full of drama or something comedic happening. It's all in the music.
But yeah, that was his style, because he wanted to, he wanted to liven things up a little bit.
Yeah, orchestra, and this is the thing, like people think orchestral music is boring. It really isn't.
Yeah.
There is so much emotion and intensity, and it's just such a lot of the time, especially with the big symphonies, it's this long journey that you kind of go on. Same thing as a movie. You go on this journey with the characters, and then you hit the climax, and then you get the resolution at the end. A symphony is essentially the same as that.
I was going to ask, we talked a lot about movies. Do you have favorite movies?
Movies. I would say movies are the hardest thing. Like they're rewarding and fun, but yeah, just because of the amount of work and pressure that comes with them, I really try to stay away as much as I can usually, and that's why I only do a handful of films. But doing anything with John Williams is always unbelievable. Like think of the film scores that he's done. E.T., Indiana Jones, all the Star Wars, the early Harry Potters. There is just so much unbelievable music. Like John Williams, I think, shaped probably our generation. Like it is music that we all grew up listening to and watching and experiencing. And it has such a big impact on those movies. Like you think of the Star Wars movies, C-3PO, R2-D2, Luke Skywalker, you think all about that just as much as you do as that main title sequence, that opening brass fanfare, or the Imperial March with Darth Vader, like that. Those are just iconic things that we've all grown up with.
Yeah. But what about like in your downtime? Do you have any downtime?
No, not really.
Do you watch movies?
No, of course, no. We watch whatever's on Netflix. No, we try to watch I actually watch a lot of because it's mostly to unwind and completely unplug. we watch a lot of like trashy reality TV. Like
Nice.
that's what we do.
Do you have a favorite?
Oh, all of them. Like the stuff on Netflix, all those property ones on Netflix.
My wife's into all that
Oh,
stuff.
we watch all of that, all the Bravo things, like all the Below Deck, Summer House, all that stuff. No, that's like the complete trashy reality TV. That's how we unwind. Because it just brings me back down, numbs me a little bit.
I was going to say, that's like the complete opposite.
It's the complete opposite, but oh my
not
gosh,
what I was
sometimes you need that complete escape
Yeah.
from all this kind of study and highbrow stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
I love it. It's great. Yeah, it's a good way to just completely unplug.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Is there anything you're looking forward to here in Greensboro?
Yeah, well, I think for this upcoming season, I'm really proud of our season that we've put together this year. And to me, even though this is my second year as a music director, to me this is really my first season, as this was the first season that I got to program the overall music. Last year I kind of came in and just was slotted into programs. It was a bit of an odd season last year because they announced the music director late, so a lot of the season was planned already. But this season is one that I really had a big input in. So you'll see with our Masterworks, our classical program, we're basically playing all the hits. There is music that people will always recognize something from one of our concerts. Like our upcoming one is all American music. So we have Rhapsody in Blue, which is, if you fly on United, you hear that opening melody. Every flight, it's the music that they use for every flight. It's got that big glissando in the clarinet. And we have West Side Story, we have Copeland's Rodeo. It's all by composers that shaped the American sound. So I can't wait for that concert this weekend. We have big artists coming like Leanne Rimes, great country pop singer.
Oh, that's amazing.
So I worked with her in Colorado and she was unbelievable. I think she's on a TV show right now. What is that? Nashville 911. She's on that TV show right now. But no, we have her coming in the second half of our season, so that's huge. We have legendary cellist Yo-Yo Ma coming to play at the Tanger Center, sponsored by the Symphony. So we're thrilled that one of the greatest artists of today is that we're bringing them to Greensboro to perform. With our pop series, we have Broadway music with Mandy Gonzalez. She's performed in Wicked, I think in Hamilton, also in Broadway. Like, she's a huge star. And then very soon we have one of these band collaborations, Hiss Golden Messenger. So it's a very folksy kind of band. They have such a cool vibe. It reminds me of the music of Gregory Alan Isaacoff, kind of mixed with Nathaniel Rateliff, mixed with, some other kind of, Lettuce, mixed with this kind of funk group. It's a very cool vibe. Like, it works really well. Not all the time when you have a band with an orchestra that the music kind of gels, but having done this collaboration last month in Colorado, it works unbelievably well. So check him out, His Golden Messenger. He lives in North Carolina also. So I kind of want to use the Greensboro Symphony as a platform to give North Carolina bands and artists that platform to work with a symphony orchestra. So, man, we have so much coming. We have so much coming up. We end the season with pictures and an exhibition. We have Verdi's Requiem. There's just so much going on. So much going on.
That's awesome. You have so much energy. Do you drink a lot of coffee? Do you work out?
Oh my God, I need to work out, but that's something that I've let go. But no, coffee, funny enough, I don't drink during rehearsal weeks or concert weeks. I don't know, I'm sure it does nothing, but in my head, I feel like the caffeine does something, makes my tempos quicker or makes it harder to, concentrate. So I'm currently not on coffee, so you haven't seen me on coffee. That's also why I enjoy not doing concerts and rehearsals, because I finally can have my cup of coffee in the morning. Like, that is my happiest thing, having my cup of coffee in the morning. But no, in concert weeks, it's all just work.
Wow. That's funny that you can just turn that off. And just
I have to. Well, gosh, to me, it's just in my head. I'm sure it probably does nothing. My wife always says, "Oh, you can have it. Your rehearsal's not until nighttime. Like, why are you being ridiculous?" But I don't know. It's in my head, so maybe it's a superstition. I don't know.
Sometimes the mental thing.
Yeah, it's enough to
even
exactly.
if you know that it's
probably does nothing.
The other half of your brain's like, you're being ridiculous.
Yes.
Even
Yes.
if that one side of your brain is like, no, and it's just, I don't know if it's a confidence thing, that a placebo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it probably has something to do with that. But no, I'm coffee free and alcohol free during concert weeks. Only until I finish my concert, I'll go hard. But before that, I don't. Yeah, I keep everything as clean as I can.
You're a pretty disciplined individual.
Oh my gosh, well, there's too much pressure to not be, like there's so much responsibility and expectation on. I feel like as a conductor, you're only as good as your last concert. So there's every time you get onto the stage and for a performance, there's always an expectation and a responsibility to do the absolute best you can and be as prepared as you possibly can be. So no, it's my job. So I don't know. I feel like that's what I have to do. Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. Do you have anything else to add that I have not added already?
Gosh, no. Whatever you think. Yeah. Whatever you.
Well, that's about all I got.
Cool. Great.
This has been amazing.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being on.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yep. And thank you for watching our program. Chris Dragon, Greensboro Symphony Orchestra.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Yeah, dude, I'm happy to do this
Dude, that
stuff
was great.
anytime, any sort of thing.
That was awesome.
Any sort of thing. It's great that you guys are right here.